Hello everyone and welcome to one another course on hypothesis testing. These are our lecture objectives. First of all, we will see statistical hypothesis testing, then one sample statistical test types, then examples of hypothesis testing, followed by errors in statistical tests. So what is hypothesis? So hypothesis is an educated guess about something in the world around you. It should be testable either by experiment or observation. It can really be anything at all as long as you can put it to a test. For example, suppose you have developed a new medicine and you think it might work. Secondly, a way of teaching you think might be better than the current existing teaching method. So, hypothesis testing can be used to determine whether a statement about the value of a population parameter should or should not be rejected. The null hypothesis is denoted by H0 is a cautious assumption about a population parameter. The alternative hypothesis denoted by HA is the opposite of what is stated in the null hypothesis. So your null hypothesis is basically the claim, that is a cautious assumption about the population parameter. Because what happens, you have a population and you draw some samples out of it. So you have to check the population parameter may include your population mean or population standard deviation sigma. So we have to check that whether the population mean and population sigma is whether it equals to x bar or s. So that is the population parameter. So you will do some cautious assumption that is called as a null hypothesis. The hypothesis testing procedure uses data from sample to test two competing statements indicated by H0 and HA, that is null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Let us see how to develop these hypotheses. So care must be taken to structure the hypothesis appropriately so that test conclusion provides the information that researcher wants. The context of the situation is very important in determining how the hypothesis should be stated. In some cases, it is easier to identify the alternate hypothesis first. In other cases, it is easier to identify null hypothesis. So correct hypothesis formulation will take practice. So null hypothesis represents the accepted facts. As its name is null, that is null or void. So null hypothesis is a general statement that state there is no relationship between two phenomena under consideration, or that there is no association between two groups, or no significant difference between two events. So that is called as a null hypothesis. Means if you are testing some, let us say example, before, or one event is before, another event is after lunch hours, right? In between there is a lunch and you are taking some sample of, say you are testing quality before and after lunch, or then you will have some sample before working and you will have some sample after lunch, right? So you will get two parameters, that is, let us say mu1 and mu2, right? An alternate hypothesis is a statement that describes that there is a relationship between two selected variables in a study. It is opposite to null hypothesis. Let us see various examples of null and alternate hypothesis. So case 1 we have just discussed, that is before and after case, that is H0, that there is no effect of new manufacturing method on production. So alternate statements to this will be new manufacturing method is better. Another case could be there is no significant difference between production before and after lunch hours, and there is a significant difference. Then there may be the cases relating to difference between groups. So null hypothesis can be stated like there is no difference in IQ of male and female. An alternate hypothesis would be there is a significant difference in IQ of male and female. So you can see that as it is called as null hypothesis, you can see that there is, whenever we are writing the null hypothesis statement, we are stating that there is no difference before and after. Similarly, there is no difference in between the two groups. So we are stating that the group 1 is neither better than group 2. So means both the groups are equal, right? So this is the way you can frame the null hypothesis. Third case may be relationship between parameters. That is, there is no relationship between education level and driving skills of the people. An alternate hypothesis could be there is a relation between education level and driving skills. So developing null and alternate hypothesis. So equality part of hypothesis always appears in null hypothesis. Very, very important statement. In general, a hypothesis test must take one of the following three forms about the value of the population mean, that is mu, where mu0 is the hypothesized value of population mean. So you are stating null hypothesis like your population mean is greater than or equal to the hypothesized value of population mean, right? So this is, you can see that there is equal to sign, greater than or equal to. So alternatively, you can say that mu is less than mu0. So depending on the sign of alternate hypothesis, the type of tail test is decided. If the alternate hypothesis is having less than sign, so it indicates that it is a left tail test, or it is also called as lower tailed test, or it is also called as one tail test. Okay. Similarly, if you state the second case is if you state or null hypothesis as mu is equals to mu0, right? So the alternate hypothesis will become mu is not equals to mu0, right? That is, you can, for example, you can state that IQ of male is equal to some for 140 value, for example, and you do a sample survey, and you found that the IQ of male is around 144, right? So this 140 is your hypothesized value, that is this value. Okay, so coming back to this, null hypothesis is mu is equals to mu0 and mu is not equals to mu0. So you can again see that there is equality sign in null hypothesis. So this leads to the two-tailed test. So your this level of significance alpha gets divided into two parts, that is alpha by 2 and alpha by 2. Similarly, the third case is mu is less than or equal to mu 0, and alternate hypothesis is mu is greater than mu 0. So depending on the sign, since it is greater than sign, so the tail become right tail test, upper tail test, and it is basically one tail. So your alpha will only be in the one tail. That's why it is called as one tail test. So you can see that it is only alpha and not alpha by 2 because it is only one tail. Now various approaches are there to hypothesis testing. So this null hypothesis can be tested with the help of following three approaches. So from that, the first approach is p-value approach. So in statistics, the p-value is the probability of obtaining results from sample in support of the null hypothesis. Larger the p-value, greater is the support to null hypothesis. If the p-value is less than or equal to level of significance alpha, the value of test statistics will be in the rejection region. That is, reject H0 if p-value is less than or equal to alpha. This is our rejection rule in the p-value approach. The second approach is critical value approach. So the test statistics Z has a normal probability distribution. We can use the standard normal probability distribution table to find the Z value with an area alpha, that is level of significance, in the lower or upper tail of the distribution. The value of test statistics that establish the boundary of the rejection region is called critical value for that test. The rejection rule is, if it is a lower tail test, then reject H0 if the value of Z statistics is less than or equal to Z critical. That is nothing but Z stat less than or equal to minus of Z times the value of Z at level of significance alpha. If it is the upper tail test, then rejection rule will be reject H0 if Z stat is greater than or equal to Z critical. That is, Z stat is greater than equal to Z at level of significance alpha. The formula for Z statistics is x bar minus mu 0 divided by sigma by root n. So x bar represents the sample mean, mu 0 represents the hypothesized value of population mean, sigma indicates standard deviation of the population, and n represents the sample size. The third approach is confidence interval approach. So the steps are: select a sample from population and use the value of sample mean to develop the confidence interval for the population mean. That is, for example, you have this population, you select some sample from this population, then you will calculate the x bar for this sample. Similarly, the sigma will be known to you, that is standard deviation of the population. So depending on this formula, you will calculate upper confidence level and lower confidence level. That is x bar plus minus z times sigma by root n. If the confidence interval contains the hypothesized value, then do not reject H0. Otherwise, reject H0. Actually, H0 should be rejected if mu 0 happens to be equal to one of the endpoints of the confidence interval. So let us understand with this diagram. So suppose this is your lower confidence level and this is your upper confidence level. So if the value of mu0 happens to be in between this lower confidence level and upper confidence level, you accept null hypothesis, that is, do not reject H0. Okay, do not reject means accept. And if the value, hypothesized value of population mean comes out to be greater than or less than lower confidence or upper confidence level, then you can reject H0. So these are the three approaches which we will be using to solve the problem. So let us see the procedure for statistical hypothesis testing. So first step is develop the null and alternate hypothesis. Step 2, specify the level of significance alpha. Step 3, collect the sample data and compute the test statistics Z or T. Then you can use any of the approach. So you can use p-value approach. So use the value of test statistics to compute the p-value. Reject H0 if p-value is less than alpha. Then critical value approach. Use the level of significance alpha to determine the critical value and rejection rule. So similarly, we have already seen this. So let us go to next slide. So what is the variety in hypothesis testing problems? So in one sample test, we have population mean. We are testing hypothesis for population mean with sigma unknown. That is, population where standard deviation is known and population standard deviation is unknown. Then inside this, we may have one tail test or two tail test. Inside this one tail test, you may have left tail test or right tail test, right? Similarly, when sigma is unknown, then you will have one tailed and two tailed test. So the statistics used for one tail test is Z test statistics when sigma is known. Similarly, for two tail test, when sigma is known, you can see that whenever the sigma is unknown, that is, population standard deviation is unknown, you have to use T statistics. And similarly, if you are checking population proportion, then you can use Z statistics. Now, first of all, let us understand what is this one sample and two sample. Suppose, first I will tell you what is two sample. Suppose you are testing the hypothesis that the lunch affects the production rate, right? So you will have to take one sample before the lunch and one sample after the lunch, right? So you will measure production rate before the lunch and you will measure production rate after the lunch. So you will draw two sample, that is, one sample is this, that is before the lunch, and one sample is after the lunch, right? So this example is of two sample hypothesis testing. So let us now see what is the one sample tests. That is, you are only drawing, suppose this is the population, and you are only drawing the sample once. So there is only one sample, right? And you are estimating X bar and standard deviation of sample. So that will be called as one sample test. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Let us see one example of one tail test. Sigma is known. The mean response time required for a pizza delivery in a random sample of 30 pizza deliveries is 32 minutes. The population standard deviation is believed to be 10 minutes. owner of the pizza delivery service wants to perform a hypothesis test with level of significance as 0.05 to determine whether the service goal of 30 minutes or less is being achieved, or otherwise you will get a pizza free. Right? So let us note down the given data. So regarding sample, what is given? So 30 pizzas, so n is 30, right? Then sigma is 10 minutes, right? Then x bar is 32 minutes, and hypothesized value of population mean is 30, right? So let us apply the steps over here. So develop the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Now the hypothesized value of mu0, that is 30. So you want to test whether the service goal of 30 minutes or less is being achieved. So this will become your null hypothesis, which is a claim made by the owner, right? So that's why this becomes the null hypothesis, mu less than equal to 30. So opposite to that, mu is greater than 30. Always remember, equality sign will be in null hypothesis. So since it is a greater than sign, so it leads us to right-tailed test. Second step, specify the level of significance alpha which is given, that is 0.05, and if it is not given in the problem, you can assume 0.05, which is the standard level. Then step 3, collect the sample data and compute the test statistic. So since sigma is known, so you can use Z statistics using the formula x bar minus mu0 by sigma by root n. Using the p-value approach, you can calculate the test statistics to compute the p-value and reject h0 if p-value is less than alpha. So using the formula of Z statistics, we have calculated the value, that is 1.09. Then using p-value approach, we have to calculate Z at 1.09. So this is a Z distribution curve. So we have to check. Now Z is 1.09, means this is your 1.09 value. The value of here, the value of Z here is 1.09. If you see the Z distribution table, so it will give you the value, that is area under the left. But in this case, you require the area on the right hand side, right? So this will become p-value of Z equal to 1.09 is equals to area under the normal distribution curve on the right side. That is equals to 1 minus area on the left side, right? So that is 1 minus p at Z equals to 0.9. Using the Z distribution table, we can see that this value is 0.8621, right? So p value at Z equals to 1.09 is 0.8621. So 1 minus 0.8621 will become 0.1379, means this area under the curve on the right side is 0.1379. Now as per our decision rule, if p-value is less than alpha, then you have to reject. But in this case, the p-value is greater than alpha, that is 0.05. Hence, our conclusion will be do not reject H0, means accept H0. So means that the service goal of 30 minutes or less is being achieved successfully. Let us see the second approach, that is the critical value approach. So first 3 steps will remain as it is. So determine the 4th step, determine the critical value and rejection rule. So alpha is 0.05. Now in the critical value approach, we will calculate the value of Z at 0.05. So this value will represent basically, this is nothing but Z at 1.645 gives the p-value of 0.05, right? So you have reversed, done the calculation in reverse way. So you got 1.645 on the z-axis, and this becomes the rejection region, and your z statistics value is 1.09, which comes over here, means it is in the acceptance region, and hence we will accept our null hypothesis. That is nothing but the service goal of 30 minutes is being achieved. The third type of approach is confidence interval approach. So step 1 is already we have done in the previous cases. Step 2 is specify level of significance, and then we have Z 0.05 is 1.645. The third step is calculate upper and lower confidence level. So we have calculated upper confidence level, that is 32 plus 1.645 into 10 divided by under root 10, which comes out to be 37.20, and LCL comes out to be 26.79. So these represents LCL and UCL. Now our hypothesized value mu0 is 30, which is within LCL and UCL, and hence the conclusion is do not reject H0. That is, the service goal of 30 minutes or less is being achieved. So you can use any approach while solving the problems. Now we will move on to two-tailed test when sigma is known. Assume that a sample of 30 milk carton provides a sample mean of 505 ml. The population standard deviation is believed to be 10 ml. Perform a hypothesis test at 0.03 level of significance with population mean 500 ml to help determine whether the filling process should continue operating or to be stopped and corrected. So let us extract the data of sample and population. So N is 30, X bar is 505, sigma is 10 ml, and hypothesized value is 500 ml. So develop the null and alternate hypothesis. Since it is required that it is the milk carton to be filled 500 ml exactly, hence your null hypothesis becomes mu is equal to 500, and opposite to that, mu is not equal to 500. Means even if you fill 495, it is wrong. Even if you fill 505, it is wrong, right? And hence this leads us to two-tailed test. That is, you have to check mu is equal to 500 and mu is not equals to 500, which leads us to two-tailed test. Step 2, specify level of significance, which is 0.03. Then step 3, calculate the Z statistics. So we have calculated the Z statistics, that is 505 minus 500 by 10 by root 30. So which comes out to be 2.74 using the p-value approach. Now in this case, your alpha gets divided into two sections. So one is left tail and other is right tail. So we have to check alpha by 2 and alpha by 2 here, right? So p-value at z equals to 2.74 is equals to 2 times the 1 minus area on the left side. I will just explain this here. Let us say you got a 2.74 over here, right? This is your statistics value. Now if you calculate p-value using table, you will get the area on the left side, complete area on the left side, but you are interested in calculating the area on the right side, right? So that's why what we have done, it is 1 minus area on the left side, but after doing so, it will give you only this much area, right? But since it is a two-tailed test, we have to multiply it by 2 because half is here and half is here. So that's why it is multiplied by 2, which gives us the value of 0.00614. The p-value is 0.00614, which is less than your level of significance, that is alpha, and hence do not accept H0, that is reject H0, right? If the p-value is less than alpha, you have to reject H0. If we use the second approach, that is critical value approach, so your step is determine the critical value and rejection rule. So since alpha is 0.03 and it is two-tailed test, we have to take z of alpha by 2, which is equals to 2.17. So your rule is reject H0 if z stat is greater than z at alpha, right? Since 2.74 is greater than 2.17, you have to reject H0. Means what you can conclude from this, the filling process should continue operating or to be stopped and corrected. So what is your conclusion? You are rejecting the null hypothesis, means it is not equals to 500, and hence it is to be stopped and corrected is the right answer. Now let us move on to one-tailed test when sigma is unknown. So let us take an example. In a bookshop at Nagpur, the following data represents the number of books sold in 20 days. Test a hypothesis that the average population demand is less than 10 books. Take level of significance alpha is equals to 0.05. So step 1, develop the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. So since it is to check whether the demand is less than 10 books, so your null hypothesis becomes mu less than equal to 10, and alternate hypothesis mu greater than equal to 10, greater than 10. So since it is greater than sign over here, it is leads us to right tail test. So the next step is to calculate t statistics. Since sigma is unknown, so you have to replace this sigma by s in the formula of z statistics. That is, population standard deviation is replaced by sample standard deviation. So you can calculate the value of t statistics, which comes out to be, so in this case you have to take the summation of this number of books sold divided by 20 to get the x bar. Similarly, you have to calculate the value of standard deviation. So the x bar is 9.85 and s is 1.87153, right? So it gives the value of minus 0.3584 as t-stat. So using p-value approach, area under the normal distribution curve on the left side, right? So you have to find out t p-value at t is equals to minus 3584. So it will be somewhere here. Value of t is equals to minus 0.3584. So if you calculate the value you will get 0.3620. So since 0.3620 is greater than 0.05, hence do not reject H0. The next type of problem is testing of population proportion. Let us take one example. For a New Year's week, the city traffic police claimed that 50% of the accidents would be caused by drunk driving. A sample of 120 accidents showed that 67 were caused by drunk driving. Use these data to test the traffic police claim with alpha is equals to 0.05. So let us note down the given data. N is equals to 120. P bar, that is population proportion, is 67 by sample proportion is 67 by 120, that is 0.5583. Claimed or hypothesized proportion is 0.5 and alpha is 0.05. So step 1, develop the null and alternate hypothesis. So your null hypothesis becomes P is equals to 0.5 because they are claiming that it is equal to 50%. So that's why this equal to sign is there. And alternate hypothesis will become P not equal to 0.5, which leads us to two-tailed test. Level of significance is 0.05. Now let us test Z equals to P bar minus hypothesized value of proportion, that is P0, divided by sigma P bar. This population standard deviation can be calculated using P0 into 1 minus P0 by N, under root N. So this gives the value of sigma P bar equal to 0.045644. The value of Z stat comes out to be 1.28, and P value at Z equals to 1.28 is equals to 0.2006. That is greater than 0.05, and hence do not reject null hypothesis. Now, while doing this hypothesis testing, there are various errors which may occur. Because hypothesis tests are based on sample data, we must allow for possibility of errors. So there are two types of error. One is called as type 1 error, that is also called as incorrect rejection. So a type 1 error is rejecting H0 when it is true. That's why it is called as incorrect rejection. So probability of making a type 1 error when the null hypothesis is true, called as level of significance. Applications of hypothesis testing that only control the type 1 error are often called as significance tests. The second type of error is type 2 error. That is opposite to this is false acceptance. Means the type 2 error is accepting H0 when it is false. It is difficult to control for probability of making a type 2 error. Statisticians avoid the risk of making type 2 error by using the term do not reject H0 instead of saying accept H0. Now let us understand this with the help of an example. So suppose population, on this side is the population condition, and this is your conclusion after doing hypothesis testing. So if H0 is true as per the data, if H0 is true and you conclude that your H0 is accepted, then you are correct, you have reached to correct decision. Similarly, if your population condition of H0 is false and you have decided to reject H0, you land on the correct decision. But if the population condition is true, H0 is true, and you are rejecting H0, you are committing type 1 error, which is incorrect rejection. Similarly, if your population condition is false and you have to reject that H0, but you accidentally accepted H0, in that case, you have committed the type 2 error, that is false acceptance. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Suppose you are standing in the court and person, as per the documentary evidences, the person is innocent, means he is actually innocent, right? And if you claim, if the conclusion of the judges is he is innocent, so it is a correct decision. That second is, if he is guilty and it is concluded that he is guilty, then it is a correct decision. But if the person is innocent, he has not done any crime, right? And you are saying he is guilty, so it is incorrect rejection, which will be very dangerous. So you have committed the type 1 error, means you are punishing the innocent for a crime which he has not committed. Another case, if the person is actually guilty, he is a criminal, and you are claiming that he is innocent, then you have committed the type 2 error, that is false acceptance. So in this case, your H0 was person is innocent, and alternate hypothesis was person is guilty, right? So these are the types of errors in hypothesis testing. So I hope you have understood this hypothesis testing for one sample. For two samples, you have to watch the next video. Thank you for watching this video. If you are having any queries, you can comment below and send your requests to untwistedlearning@gmail.com. Have a good day and happy learning.